Welcome back to Blue Jays Express. When an update hits about Bo Bichette, it immediately changes the temperature in Toronto. He's not just another player hitting free agency, he's the face of a franchise that has been stuck between contention and confusion for years. So when today's report revealed a major positive shift in Toronto's confidence to re-sign him, it sent shockwaves through everyone paying attention. And the timing could not be more dramatic. The Blue Jays just reshaped their rotation. They added Dylan Cease. They signaled very clearly that they're not stepping backwards, they're pushing forward. But now, with this new information, it looks like the front office is preparing for an even bigger statement, keeping Bo Bichette in Toronto long-term. Before we continue, hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Go Blue Jays! Let's break down exactly what changed and why this update is more important than it seems. For months, Toronto's chances of re-signing Bichette looked bleak. Once he entered free agency at the end of 2025, the assumption was simple. Big market teams, the Dodgers, the Giants, the Cubs, would line up to throw money at him. Toronto would get priced out just like they've been before with other stars. And the fan base would be forced to watch another homegrown talent walk away. But the new reporting paints a different picture, a surprisingly optimistic one. Executives inside the organization now believe they're in a stronger position than expected to negotiate a long-term deal. That's not typical PR language. That's not speculation. That's confidence. The kind you rarely hear unless something meaningful has shifted in the negotiation dynamics. So let's talk about those shifts, because there are 3 reasons this momentum suddenly exists. And each reason tells a deeper story about the Jays, about Bichette, and about the market around them. Reason number 1, Bo Bichette's market is evolving in a way no one predicted. A lot of teams expected to be major bidders at shortstop are now reallocating their budgets. Some are prioritizing pitching, others are changing their roster construction approach, and a few simply aren't ready to commit $200 plus to a player whose defensive metrics fluctuate year to year. That doesn't mean Bo's value has dropped. It means the list of teams willing to go all in is smaller than projected. And when fewer bidders are chasing a top name, the current team, in this case Toronto, regains leverage. Now, reason number 2, and this one is huge. Toronto still believes Bo is a foundational piece. They've never wavered on that internally. They know his inconsistencies. They know he's not a perfect defender, but they also know he's one of the best pure hitters at his position, a player who carries himself like a leader, and someone whose presence stabilizes the lineup and the clubhouse. This is a guy who hits. This is a guy who competes. And this is a guy who, whether critics admit it or not, makes the team better simply by being on the field. According to insiders, the Jays are now more willing than ever to stretch financially, even beyond early projections, because they understand exactly what losing him would mean. A leadership gap, a talent gap, a credibility gap, and a PR disaster. Letting Bichette walk would send a message. Re-signing him would send a bigger one. But the third reason, this is where everything changes. Sources close to Bichette describe him as open, genuinely open, to staying in Toronto if 2 conditions are met. The offer is fair. The team is truly committed to winning. And guess what? Toronto just signaled commitment in the loudest way possible by adding Dylan Cease and continuing to pursue high-impact upgrades. Players notice these things. They measure organizations not just by what they say, but by what they do. And right now, Toronto is acting like a team that wants to compete, not rebuild. This matters to Bichette. This changes negotiations. This gives Toronto momentum, something they have desperately lacked for months. But let's be clear, a positive update does not mean an easy road ahead. If the Jays want to keep Bo long-term, the contract will have to be elite shortstop money, not discounts, not team-friendly, not optimistic projections. We're talking true market value, years, dollars, real commitment. And that brings us to the biggest question. Do the Blue Jays see Bo Bichette as a player worth building around for the next decade? Because this isn't just about locking up a shortstop. This is about the identity of the franchise, about stability, about sending a message that Toronto isn't giving up on its core. Now let's talk about the pressure, because yes, there's pressure on the front office, but there's also pressure on Bo. The market shrinking means he needs to evaluate carefully. Does he chase the biggest number, or does he choose a place where he's already established, respected, and central to the team's future? These decisions define careers, and Toronto knows it. That's why today's update is so important. For the first time in months, they have leverage. They have momentum. They have a pathway that doesn't involve losing their star player and scrambling to fill a gaping hole at shortstop. Expect negotiations to intensify. Expect internal meetings to accelerate. Expect numbers to move. Bo Bichette staying in Toronto is suddenly possible, not guaranteed. But possible in a way it simply wasn't 2 months ago. And that possibility alone changes everything. Because re-signing Bo is not just about the next contract, it's about the message it sends to players, fans, and the entire league. The Blue Jays are building. The Blue Jays are investing. The Blue Jays are not done. So now I want to hear from you. Should Toronto make the massive long-term commitment? Should they stay cautious and prepare for a future without him? Or is Bo Bichette still the player you build around? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Blue Jays breaking updates. Go Blue Jays!